Good morning, good evening, good night. My name is Jesus, and I will be presenting Friday Night Hangout. It wasn't long ago when my squad, a tight group of friends, and I would have the time of our lives at our friend's house, Dan. It became a tradition to have all of us in his basement every Friday night. From planning to having them carpool, every moment I invested with these guys was one that I cherished as if it was the last time I would ever be with them. Although it has been over 5 years since the last time we hung out, I won't ever forget the Friday nights at Dan's basement. Every passing second, that ticking sound of the school clock would drive me nuts. The pitch would bang inside my head intensely, like the alarms that would drive me crazy enough to destroy my iPod Touch. Fortunately, that never happened. Unlike some people that would set their phones with multiple alarms, one every 15 minutes usually, the sheer volume and choice of noise was enough to pull my body from bed. The noise was exactly like the ones my high school clock would make, but at a higher frequency. As the time came closer to freedom, the urge to destroy that clock became more prominent. Sensing the reality of being free was always an experience waiting to calm my urge of violence. As soon as our time was up, a feeling similar to that first leg stretch after a 10 plus hour drive rushed through my body. Knowing that as soon as that bell rang, my role in having a fun night with my squad was finally to go. Madness would occur all over the school. Students would not think twice to stay and listen to what the teacher had to say, whether it be about the homework needed to complete over the weekend, an opportunity to turn in extra credit, an update on the school's football or basketball game going on. No matter the message, no one would stay and listen. It was those few moments after the ring of the bell, an image of the national running of the bull and Papillon España would come to mind. It's just like the event, if you were to just jump and come underprepared, students would run you down with no care in their mind. To make matters worse, the distance between the bus and my classroom was a distance of 10 minutes. Going even beyond that, the overly grouchy and merciless bus driver would only give students 5 minutes to reach the bus on time. I can recall a handful of times I had to ride around and find a friend for a ride. If it came down to it, I called my parents with an embarrassed, regretful tone. By 4 p.m., two things had always been done routinely. The first being my mid session of de stressing myself, wherein I would often treat myself in taking a soothing hot shower, enough to emit a sense of steam room in my bathroom, a brief 30-minute nap on my father's rug. It was as if it gave an impression of what a cloud would feel like. The second being the constant back and forth that my squad would blow up my phone. All of the time, our messages would often have characteristics of political debates, as those in the primary and secondary. Constant bickering about micro and macro level issues, about what our night will be like. A micro level example would be about the sort of food we would bring. 99% of the time, to no surprise, it always ended up being between pizza, the infamous Pizza Hut, or the addictive cracked chicken from Fresh Fish, since it was Dad's house. He always picked cracked chicken. In my eyes, more in my stomach, Fresh Fish cracked chicken were one of the factors that brought us all together like family. Just like a majority of families in the United States, Thanksgiving is a time to celebrate with loved ones. The turkey being the symbol that represented our cherishing moments we held together. That is exactly how we looked at her. The macro level example was the challenge that would come with bringing everyone together. Back when I was starting to gain experience with being on the road, often there would be cases where more than one person was allowed to ride with me. The instructor at the driving school would often read out the limits and having only one passenger in a vehicle. It is safe to say that I went beyond that limit every Friday night. Although the consequences from being caught by the police was beyond my worries, I found the annoyance and hassle that revolved on carpooling all my friends was about equivalent to it as if it were to be caught. I were to be caught by the police. Long response time, terrible detailed information, and worst of all, not responding. Within each one of my friends that I was set to carpool, they found themselves always falling within all or one of those three. It made me feel as if I was playing the real life version of the arcade game Root Beer Tapper, where I would have to manage every single person in my vicinity, make sure that each one was being met with their needs and wants, while also keeping calm, having everything planned and well thought out. In the end, even having to deal with the frustration, annoyance, challenge, seeing all my friends together like that reminded me of how much I love them. By the time we arrived to our destination, the night had already begun. Being at Dan's house was like a time bomb waiting to go off. Everyone just wanted to be in a place of safe haven where we could go off like a boom and be free. With his house being in the center of an entire friend group, perfectly fitted to where all of us had little to no problem meeting up, we would often say, Dan, your house is like Meyer, with only one on the south side of Lansing. Everyone on this side of town is drawn to shop for their groceries there. It was at his house that all of us would feel like we could truly be ourselves. With school, there were always others judging our every impulse, goofy, ridiculous behavior. At school, our parents would strike us as being a certain way. Dan's house made our collective, our club, our team, our squad feel like something unforgettable. Thank you so much for listening to my presentation, and have a wonderful good morning, good evening, and a good night.